administration, adding that now is not the time to be gloating about the electoral victories recorded during the general elections. He noted that the government must admonish themselves on the need to remain focused on the socio-economic programs for the emancipation of the people. Governor Akeredolu, however, called on all new leaders to cast aside all tendencies which promote and deepen clavages of different hues, pointing out that all hands must be on deck to lift the country to greater heights. In the meantime, an Osun-based politician and financial expert, Prince Dario Ogunlede, has implored the new President Bola Tinubu not to remove petrol subsidy to avert throwing the people into further economic woes. Prince Ogunlede gave the advice today while featuring on OSBC 104.5 FM weekly program Issues in the News. He advised the incoming government to do something reasonable concerning the nation's 4 hailing refineries. The financial expert also enjoined people of the country to embrace farming to improve the nation's economy. Prince Ogunlede commended Governor Ademola Adeleke for giving the people of the states of Osun hope and quality leadership regardless of their political affiliations. A few minutes after his inauguration for a second term in office, Kwara State Governor Abdurrahman Abdulrazak has reappointed Malam Rafiu Ajakai as his Chief Press Secretary. The appointment was confirmed in a statement by Murtala Atoyebe, the Chief Press Secretary to the Head of Service, Susan Oguwole. In another development, Governor Babagana Solomon Borno State has kick-started his second tenure administration with a resolve to reopen more displaced communities to accelerate the rebooting of the economy of the insurgency-battered state. Report has it that over 1 million internally displaced persons, IDPs, have been relocated to over 20,000 houses in their ancestral communities over the last 4 years. Taking the second term out of office, Governor Solomon also announced a plan to recruit 5,000 teachers and 1,500 health workers and establish microfinance bank in each of the 27 local government areas of the state. Shortly after the governor's second term inauguration, the members of the Senior Executive Course 37 of the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies vowed to support its administration to accelerate the restoration of the state to its glorious past. The newly sworn governor of Plateau State, Caleb Mofwang, has assured that tribe and faith will not be used as tools for division during his administration. The governor stated this while delivering his inaugural speech after he was sworn in as the 6th executive governor of the state at his Rank Tank Stadium, Township Stadium in Jos, the state capital, by the Chief Judge of the state, Justice David Nam. While appreciating the people of the state for giving him the privilege to serve as their governor, he promised to muster the political will every step of the way to initiate policies and programs that will engender peace, progress, and prosperity in Plateau State. This is the news across the country coming to you from Osun State Broadcasting Corporation, Voice of the West, Nigeria. Now a mid-news message. Life cannot be lived in isolation. Encourage harmonious relationship for a peaceful coexistence. The Niger State Governor Mohammed Bago has announced plan to demolish the Changa police station in Minna. Governor Bago made this declaration today during his inaugural speech at the Trade Fair Complex in Minna. He disclosed that the first assignment he's handing out is to mark the police station for demolition, which will be carried out on a yet-to-be-determined date. The governor expressed concern that police station was obstructing the water pipeline and stated that it will be marked for demolition immediately after the inauguration. He reassured the public of his administration's commitment to tackling insecurity in the state headlong. Also, Governor Bako emphasized the urgency and gravity of the matter, pledging to uphold the constitutional principle of security and ensure the protection of lives and property. Former President Muhammadu Buhari has returned to Daura in Katsina State after serving 8 years as President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Report has it that Buhari's wife Aisha and children had left Umaru Musa Yar'Adua Airport via a Nigerian Air Force aircraft. The former president, who was received by the newly inaugurated governor of Katsina State, Malam Diko Umaru Rada, and his deputy Alhaji Farouk Lawal, was later conveyed to was received by a tumultuous crowd led by the Emir of Daura, Alhaji Umar Farouk Umar. Governor Ademola Adeleke of Osun State has congratulated former governors of the state, Mr. Ralph Aregbesola, Alhaji Adegoye Itola, David Adeleke Davido, and other indigenes of the state who bagged different national honors as conferred by President Muhammadu Buhari. In a statement by the spokesperson to the governor, Malam Olawale Rashid, the governor noted that the award is a recognition of their noble and immense contributions to the growth and development of Osun State and Nigeria in general. The governor noted that they have all distinguished themselves in different ways and areas to have been recognized by the president. Governor Adeleke added that all the awardees are worthy ambassadors of Osun State, and as such, Osun is proud of them all. Recipients of the national honors from the Osun State include former governors Chief Bisi Akande, Mr. Ralph Aregbesola, Alhaji Adegoye Itola, David Adeleke Davido, Olu of Uta Kingdom, over Ahmed Oyelubi, among others. Governor Ademola Adeleke has employed stakeholders in the educational sector to support his administration effectively in the development of the young ones by playing their roles in complementing government efforts to meet the needs of the children in the rapid changing world. Governor Adeleke gave the advice in Osogbo at a public gathering called on the citizenry to partner with the state government with the hope and aspiration of moving the state forward in all ramifications. He commended parent guidance and all the stakeholders in the educational sector for their efforts to ensure holistic development of the children's well-being in the state. Represented by the Secretary to the State Government, Honorable Teslim Ubalayi, Governor Adeleke stressed that a tree cannot make a forest, promised to embrace constructive advice at all times. The state helmsman called on all and sundry to join hands with his administration for aggressive work and engagements to transform the state to an enviable height among Committee of State. The third batch of pilgrims from Osun State to this year's Hajj in Saudi Arabia departed Osogbo in the morning for Hajj camp in Lagos. A total number of 1,835 pilgrims from Osun this year are divided into 5 batches to ease their movement to Lagos and eventual airlifting. The first and second batches had at the weekend left Osun State for Lagos Hajj camp. According to the Administrative Secretary of Osun State Muslim Pilgrims Welfare Board, Mr. Bolaji Sani, the fourth batch is expected to leave Osogbo tomorrow, preparatory to their being airlifted to Saudi Arabia. Mr. Bolaji Sani added that, barring any unforeseen circumstances, the last batch will also be driven to Lagos this week. It will be recalled that Governor Ademola Adeleke at last week at the farewell ceremony urged the pilgrims to host the banner of Osun higher in Saudi Arabia and maintain the track records of their predecessors or surpass them. Meanwhile, the second batch of Osun pilgrims which departed Osogbo from Lagos at the weekend has been airlifted to Saudi Arabia. OSBC reporter Shakiru Oyiwale informs that the pilgrims boarded plane this evening. Chairman of Dark Communications, Chief Raymond Dokpesi, is dead. According to reports, Dokpesi, who was a chieftain of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), died at the age of 71 in Abuja. A source who spoke with newsmen revealed that he died in Abuja Hospital after he suffered a stroke. This reportedly happened after the recent Ramadan fast. Information has it that the AIT boss had since been managing his health and was placed on occupational therapy to improve his daily activities before his sudden death. The Flying Eagles will play Argentina in the next round of ongoing FIBA Under-20 World Cup. Adeyemi Aboderi has updates.
The Flying Eagles will take on the host Argentina in the knockout stage of the 2023 FIBA Under-20 World Cup in Argentina. The 2 times World Cup finalist Nigeria finished third in Group D with 6 points and was selected as one of the 4 best third-place teams. The 7 times African champions were topping the group on the final group games on Saturday, but their 0-2 loss to Brazil and Italy's 0-3 trumping of Dominican Republic made Flying Eagles stumbled to third place to book a second-round ticket against Argentina. Nigeria will now face the favorites to lift the title and host Argentina. Only Only Ecuador, with 11 goals, have scored more goals than Argentina in this tournament, while USA are the team with the best defense record. Argentina qualified for the competition after the hosting right was withdrawn from Indonesia and won all their 3 group matches, scoring 10 goals and conceding just 1. They have won the FIBA Under-20 World Cup record 6 times. While free-scoring Falconet will play against Benin Republic Under-20 girls in the semi-finals of the Waffle B Under-20 tournament in Kumasi, Ghana. The Falconet, who finished top of Group A with 9 maximum points, scoring 16 goals in 3 games, will now face Benin Republic, who were the runners-up in Group A. Similarly, Group A winners Ghana will play against Burkina Faso in the other semi-final. Both semi-finals will be played on Wednesday at the Baba Yaro Stadium in Kumasi. In the meantime, the Confederation of African Football (CAF) has listed the Super Falcons of Nigeria among 24 teams that will contest for one of the 2 tickets for the women football competition of the 2024 Olympic Games in France. Despite dominating African football, having won the African Women's Cup of Nations 11 times, the Super Falcons failed to qualify for the Olympics in the last 2 editions, but will do everything this time around to be part of the competition holding next year. The Super Falcons will be participating in the 2023 FIBA Women's World Cup in New Zealand and Australia. Italian Serie A top scorer Victor Osimhen looked to have clinched Italian top scorer award after scoring twice in Napoli's away draw with Bologna. Osimhen scored in both halves of the match. He has taken his league code tally to 25, 4 goals ahead of his closest challenger, Lautaro Martinez of Inter Milan. No African has ever won the Italian top scorer award. The duo of Super Eagles players Wilfred Ndidi and Kelechi Iheanacho have been relegated from the English Premier League with Leicester City. The 2016 champions went down despite beating West Ham United by 2 goals to 1. The win could not save Leicester City, who finished the season with 34 points. Coach Mauricio Pochettino has signed a 3-year contract to become Chelsea's next manager. The former Tottenham boss had reached a verbal agreement weeks ago to take over from Frank Lampard at Stamford Bridge. The 51-year-old has been out of work since he was dismissed by PSG at the end of last season. Sport Update returns tomorrow. My name is Adeyemi Abodeni.
And now to hand the news across the country, here again are the major points. President Bola Tinubu has pledged that electricity in the country will become more accessible and affordable to businesses and homes alike, stressing that power generation will be doubled while transmission and distribution network improved. President Tinubu gave the assurance today in his inaugural speech shortly after taking the oath of office as the 16th head of government in Nigeria. Niger State Governor Muhammad Ibaku has announced plans to demolish the Chachanga police station in Minna. Former President Muhammadu Buhari has returned to Daura in Katsina State after serving 8 years as President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Chairman of DAC Communications, Chief Raymond Dokpesi, is dead. According to reports, Dokpesi, who was a chieftain of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), died at the age of 71 in Abuja. And that was the news across the country, delivered by Adeniyi Kende. For more about us, you can visit www.osbcng.org. Thanks so much for listening to the news across the country. Good evening.
From the roots and climates of this nation